A lot of times people don't understand it. People don't understand the word. They don't understand the concept. But they may understand this concept, that when you start confessing and saying Psalms 23 over your life, over everything, then things start happening. Then you start saying, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Welcome, and thank you so much for being with us for the homegoing virtual services for Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery, my wife, my friend. Yes, with COVID-19 and all of these things that are going on in our world, I believe in being safe. I believe that our people are very important, and their health and their safety is paramount. But at the same time, we're also interconnected. So I'm going to ask you to use your imagination, interconnect with us as we allow the life of Saundra Elaine Montgomery to touch your life, and as we remember the beauty of this spirit.
My heart breaks for the loss of this soldier, this dreamer, this visionary, this worshiper, this leader, this first lady that has been a part of all of our lives. And so it's an honor to have been a part at all in that legacy. So it's been requested that I sing this song. It's the very first song that I sang at Abundant Life Cathedral when I sit down on the Tuesday night service. Didn't know what was about to happen in my life, and I just simply sat down and sang this song.
So bless me now, my Savior, my precious Savior. Lord, I've come to thee.
This is tough. It's almost unreal. It's like an out-of-body experience. But Saundra and I started with video. We started in media. It was our dream to be able to reach people throughout not just the country, but our world. And 2 kids. That's all we were 2 kids from Cleveland, Ohio. Let me begin by telling you the story. Saundra finished her book, and I think she was going to call it A Chosen Vessel or something like that. And I said, no, let's call it something else. And we talked about life, and we talked about what she wanted. And one of the things that Saundra wanted to do was to be on stage doing dance or background vocals or all of these different little things. And so when I came in and asked her to marry me, and she told me later on, she said, you do know you took my stage jobs, right? I said, what do you mean? She said, to be a first lady, to be a preacher's wife, you know, I was planning on going on tour and being on stage. So I'm giving that up. And I looked at her and I told her, honey, you're not gonna give it up. Somewhere down the line, I'll build you a stage and you can do whatever you want to do. And I thought that was fun. So that's what we titled the book, On Stage. And on stage was not just trying to be a celebrity or anything like that. On stage meant the ability to be 24 hours there for people, for ministry, for encouragement, for mending broken hearts,
Just a few days ago, I heard the song Bridge Over Troubled Waters, sung by C.C. Winans. Never heard it sung so beautifully, but yet I thought of the beautiful Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery, who has been a bridge over troubled waters. For me, Dr. Saundra Montgomery was like a sister who I may not have seen often, but there was not a moment when her cheer, her kindness, her gifting was not honored by me. I can imagine that I was not the only one who could stand today and acknowledge when they might have been in need. Some mother, single parent, some young person, when they were not in need, or they were in need, she was the bridge over troubled waters. I know that because UN helped millions of women, either in person or through the programs that she had. She had that special commitment to have glamour and beauty and style, but for purpose, to serve others. I know when you both lost your beloved daughter, I heard about it, knew about it. She always used that to teach others and to inspire others because of how much caring she had in her heart. Thank you for your strength. And for that reason, the nation honors you with a United States congressional resolution and honors you with a flag that was hoisted by the United States Capitol Police in the pandemic to honor you, Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery, flying over the United States Capitol to say to you, thank you, great American. Thank you, a great servant, for you have done your work. Your work is to be honored, good and faithful servant. You have done a good work, and we will remember it because your light will never grow dim. God bless this family. God bless this church. God bless you in the warmth of God's grace and mercy. For as you walk this earth, I know her memories will warm you, and she will never be forgotten, and she'll always walk with you.
Go ahead.
This is a girl's picture. This is a girl's picture. Move over for
You told me to come over here.
No, I didn't. Stand right over there. It's a girl's picture. Then you can come. Then you can come over here. Then you're going to take your own picture by yourself.
Okay, Erica, then you need to come in.
Yes, all girls. All girly girls.
You know, during Hurricane Harvey, when the Corps of Engineers, when they released the water before notifying anybody, they released that water, and the water came flowing into West Houston. And Sister Saundra has held the flooding, that water against me ever since going back to August of 2017. And the reason is, she said that I ruined her red bottom shoes. And I tell you, she held that against me. I just hope she forgave me. It wasn't my fault. It was a Corps of Engineers. It wasn't me. But I know since I'm the mayor, you know, the buck stops with me. And I intended to go and buy a brand new pair of red bottom shoes. I tell you what I'm going to do. In her memory, I'm going to buy myself a pair.
With the power invested in me by the state of Florida, the province of Jacksonville, in sanction with a duly awarded privilege that the Board of Regents has given me and elected this day, I declare that you shall no longer be known as Saundra Elaine Montgomery, but from this day forward, let all know, according to the affixed signature of myself and our academic dean, that you shall be known, daughter of Zion, as Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery. Congratulations. I pray God's speed, His prosperity, and His joy be upon you. You are a kingdom lady. You are an example of what more women in Crescendo should be. Congratulations, Doctor.
He had tears in his eyes when he told me this. And all the work that you have done. I'll never forget one thing that took place. You did a praise and worship class years ago and packed the class out. And for some reason, they gave you a half a check, like about $100. And you asked, my class was packed. Why didn't they pay me the $130 like they pay all the rest of the people there? And they says, because you don't have the degree. That haunted me, because the school was the Texas Institute of Biblical Studies, my own school, and they treated you that way. Well, they'll never treat you that way again. Not First Lady Minister. Congratulations, Dr. Saundra.
Wow. Hey, family. I love y'all. Hey, everybody. Hey, family in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Oh, Dr. Jackson, thank you so very much. Thank you, St. Thomas Christian Christian School College. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been the best birthday a girl could ever ask. Thank you so much. Let me see, I think.
Hey everybody, I've got some friends who love Dr. Saundra Elaine and wanted to pay tribute to her today. Please welcome members of the ALC Reunion Choir.
I was so proud when she went on to become a world-renowned and powerful woman of God. Words can never define such a jewel as Ducky. She was so unique in her own way, possessing so many rare qualities and loving attributes that one could ever dream of having. She was one who cared deeply and genuinely, and she loved people. She could walk with kings and queens and never lose the common touch. She was real. This woman of God, this wife, this mother, shared her loving spirit in ways that many may never know. Her fortitude, her gratitude, and her appreciation for life, her love for others, and most importantly, her love for her God will always be her legacy.
Hello to you, Pastor Ed, and your family, and all the friends of Pastor Saundra, my dear friend. All of the Osteen family send their love to you today and our prayers during this time. We were very sad to hear about Pastor Saundra's passing, and yet we know that we don't sorrow as the world does because our hope is in heaven. And as we celebrate her life and legacy today, I can imagine her celebrating with us in heaven, maybe even doing a little bit of dance, because that's the way she was. She's up there cheering us on in that great cloud of witnesses who've gone before us. I loved Pastor Saundra. She was always full of joy and laughter, and she was just fun to be around. And talk about classy, she was a classy and elegant lady. And I celebrate her life today for the wonderful, godly woman that she was. She was an example and role model for so many people, and she will be greatly missed. We love you, Pastor Ed. We admire you and your whole family and for what you're doing for the kingdom of God. We just encourage you to be encouraged and know that we're praying for you. and that we all love you here at Lakewood Church. God bless you.
I get a chance today to talk about Dr. Saundra Elaine as a daughter. Daughter in ministry. I got a chance to not just see her lead and talk about the importance of ministry in the lives of people where some folks would forget about them, i.e. the prisons, young teenagers, young girls, women who have lost employment and everything that UN symbolized and epitomized. So I got a chance to see that firsthand. But more than anything, I got a chance to hear the jokes. I got a chance to hear that laugh, that quintessential laugh that, man, you could not ignore that laugh. First of all, that laugh made you laugh. And then that laugh also signified happiness and joy. There are several things that are so important to me. Our brunches and lunches together. She and I would have our girly girl lunches on the third floor of Neiman's and different places, but that was one of her favorite places because, she got a chance to go to the Chanel shop after we got through eating. And, sometimes we couldn't eat our meal without 3 or 4 people. Oh, Dr. Saundra, how you doing? Dr. Saundra, how you doing? And that brought so much joy to her, and it brought joy to me because people acknowledged her greatness and they acknowledged what she had brought into their lives. Just like all of us here today, we're celebrating her because of the joy that she brought to our lives. And that, for me, is what will be her legacy. Joy and helping women all over the world. I love you guys.
I just wanted to send out some love and just show my love and appreciation and absolute adoration of Dr. Saundra. She came into my life through the Jordans a few years back, and she had been such a pivotal piece of my life. Ever since she came into it, she gave me an opportunity to teach at the ministry with the UN ladies, which has been phenomenal. She truly was a mentor, a spiritual mother, and someone that I truly looked up to. She gave me godly advice on how to be a first lady, how to be a mother, how to be a wife. She loved the baby. Ever since she found out I was pregnant, she gave me so much support and advice and encouragement. She always wanted to hold the baby, so I wanted to put her in the video, but I want to say that I love her and I miss her so much. And I'm definitely praying for the family and for everyone whose life that she touched. Thank you for this opportunity, and we're praying with and for you all. Bye.
Saundra wanted me to tell this story because it's something we kept hidden. I told people I was going to tell this, but I didn't want to really didn't want to talk about it. But Saundra made me promise that I would tell it. And I told her that she ought to tell this story because it's her story. And she said, I did. I told it in my book. And it's, it's there in glaring details. She said, but it's a story that you need to tell. I want you to tell it. And I said, well, I'm not going to tell this story until we tell it in the right frame of mind. This is not just something you stand up on Sunday morning and tell. But I felt that this was a time to share this with people because I'm hoping that it will encourage. Our ministry did not start with a television camera or singing or preaching the word or with a calling. It began with something that was deep and painful, but at the same time, it's from which that spot that everything grew. Saundra and I were teenagers, we were kids. And I had accepted a call to the ministry. And I was getting ready to go to college. As a matter of fact, my high school grades weren't good enough. I couldn't get into college. But my pastor enabled me to Dr. A.E. Campbell Jr. and his lovely wife, Patsy, my mother in the Lord, enabled me to go to college as a ministerial student. But just as I was accepted, I discovered that Saundra was pregnant. I was not going to go to school. I was going to stay home and work and do what I could to support. But the adults, my family, her family, said that a young black boy without an education was not going to do well in life. He said, Eddie, you got to go to school. And so I did. And I'll never forget working while in school, working at Texas Instruments, cleaning 36 bathrooms, slinging a mop, just to be able to send something home. But something happened there. We were not married. And it was an old thing they did in the Baptist church, that if a girl got pregnant, they made her stand before the church and confess her sins, sin of fornication, and to ask for forgiveness from the church in order to get back the right hand of fellowship, which meant she couldn't sing in the choir, she couldn't usher on the usher board, she couldn't be in fellowship with the rest of the members until she confessed it. And Saundra stood up in front of those men, deacons, and she did it. And I was furious. They didn't tell me until after it was over, because they said the man couldn't be there. And I found out, I said, had I known, I would have stood there with her, because it takes two to tango. And if I get emotional about it, I understand that. But she stood it and she took it. And she got back the right hand of fellowship. But from that point on, people have often wondered why, if a woman was not married, you would still bless the baby in ALC. Why would you hold the child at Montgomery, even though the father was not there? There was no husband. Why would you not condemn? Why would you? Because it's not a good thing to have a single mother stand up with a child during a baby dedication, because it will give the wrong impression to other girls. Why would you do it? That's the reason we did it. And ALC became a no judgment zone. It became a place for people who had been hurt and ridiculed and religion shamed, to find a place where they can find forgiveness. Out of that, you win. Saundra's women's ministry that exploded throughout this world. Her platform that allowed people who may not have had a platform of their own, but after Saundra got through, they were able to do television and do work, and people knew their names because of the platform that Saundra built. We didn't bring in people's names in order to draw crowds. We built the crowds through love, relationship. That was the foundation of our ministry. People wanted me to preach more hellfire and sending folk to hell. And Saundra and I, we're loving people, compassionate people. We see the wound, we see the victim, and we want to be the hand that heals, and that's what my friend did.
You, Woman in the Now, was founded and directed by Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery. Dr. Saundra's vision for You Win was to support women from all walks of life. You Win is a venue for taking the church out of the four walls into homes, women and teen shelters, prisons, nursing homes, hospitals, and hospice facilities. Dr. Saundra's desire for an atmosphere of worship introduced the ALC Dance Company, known as Word in Motion, as an extension of ministry and as a form of worship. Today, You Win honors the legacy of Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery. While we suffer the loss of her passing from this life, the significant impact that she had on the lives of others is everlasting.
I thank God for Sister Saundra, for her life and her vision. I will forever cherish the memories with her, of her, and because of her.
She taught me so much. I'll just forever love her. She gave me sisters that I love and I can always count on. So thank you, Sister Saundra.
We are all one and we all give to each other and we're all there for each other. And I really appreciate the sisterhood and UN. Thank you, Sister Saundra Montgomery.
I am thankful to Sister Saundra for having this kind of organization and spirit to gather women to empower other women. So I thank her.
I thank Sister Saundra for the life that she lived and the love that she gave to all of us.
UN is a divinely designed sisterhood. I'm so thankful for Sister Saundra's vision and obedience. I'm thankful for my UN group. Her legacy will live on in my heart forever.
I am so thankful for Sister Saundra for so many reasons, but in particular for how she taught me to pray.
She exudes freedom from her soul. I'm so thankful that she has just transferred that into me, into everyone that meets her, and her unwavering confidence.
I'm so grateful for you, for Sister Saundra, for you women in the now, how I have been part of a phenomenal group of women.
It doesn't matter what age bracket or whatever there is, but women are always together. And that's what I love about this unit. Thank you, Sister Saundra. Love you.
Thank God for Sister Saundra's vision and being able to be a part of that vision. And she has sparked in me the desire to do things big, or in her words, huge.
Her love and her wisdom has touched multiple generations in my family.
We'll never forget her. You win. You, woman in the now. What a blessing Dr. Saundra Montgomery was to all of us, especially to women and girls. We are thankful to the Lord for her life.
Man, did she have a sense of humor. Oh, bless God. Speaking of sense of humor, she just would walk into a room and just light up the room. And of course she lit up the room because she had the light of Christ in her. She was affable, amicable, and angelic. And as Pastor Suzette said, we will always remember her because she made an indelible difference, not just in the Houston community and beyond.
This is how I see you, woman in the now, as women who are learning to be supportive, a shoulder you can cry on, an arm to encourage, as well as a backbone to not let anybody push you around. That's what UN is about. Connection, being a part of each other. When you have a connection, a team, you're making a difference in not only other people's lives, but you're changing the world around you. Isn't that what we do? We shape the world around us. UN, I think it's a fantastic name. I just think it's wonderful. Saundra Montgomery, you don't forget that.
We're supporting and blessing our students for several years in a row now at Christmas time, and definitely the joy of giving. Our students enjoy receiving that, and thank you for being a blessing to them.
Oh, nice.
And I also have a certificate in a folder over there.
Trust in the Lord, delight in the Lord, commit thy ways to the Lord, rest in the Lord.
Phillips from Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery was my big sister. She was the oldest of 6 children, myself, Rhonda, Dwayne, Rodney, and John. And she always let us know she was the oldest. She taught us so many things. She was such a nurturer. She was so much fun, so creative. Needless to say, everyone here in Cleveland is just really devastated that she is no longer with us here on this earth, but we know where she is. We know that she is with the Lord, and so that gives us peace. But we just love her so much, and we thank all of the people from Houston and Katy and Bonham, all of you guys that loved on her, and she loved you all. But most of all, I just want to let my big sister know that we're going to miss her so, because she gave us so much love, and we hope in return that we gave her the love back.
I came to talk to you and celebrate a woman who was my friend and my sister, Dr. Saundra Montgomery. She came many times to support historic Greater Friendship Baptist Church, my pastor, his wife, and of course to be with me at the Old Give Thanks concert. I was speaking with Dr. Ed the other day, and he said, we were talking about the groups and his group and my group, how we even did joint concerts, and that's when this love affair happened between him and Saundra. He said, Earl, do you have any pictures of the Gospel Majestics? I said, I do. He said, send one so we can put it in the memorial. I said, I can send it. I said, but Saundra's not on it. He said, why? I said, because she was on punishment. I said, Saundra had missed her curfew, and Mrs. Golden would not let her go with us. Many times we had to finagle Saundra out the house, say this or that to try to get our house, say we were going to some other affair. Anything but singing. Because if she felt Saundra was going to sing and that was her passion and her love, she wanted to punish her. And you did not come against Deacon Golden and Eileen Golden's rules in that house. In the background, you hear her singing Never Grow Old. Our hearts are heavy, but my spirit soars because I know what Saundra is. And because Jesus lives, Saundra lives in the land where we'll never grow old.
We had just got to Houston from Bonham, Texas. Wonderful people. That was our first church. And we were in a townhome. And Saundra washed dishes by hand. She didn't use a dishwasher. And I said, why don't you use the dishwasher? She says, no, I want to wash them by hand. They're much cleaner that way, much sanitized. I said, but the thing is, she says, no, I grew up a certain way. This is the way we're going to do it. I said, okay. And so she just washed dishes. Several months going by, she just washed dishes. Finally, somebody came by and said, Saundra, why don't you put the dishes in the dishwasher? Come to find out, both of us grew up in homes where there were no dishwashers. When we got to Texas, we thought Texans was, they was rich folk because everybody had a dishwasher. Okay? All right, a dishwasher. So anyway, Saundra puts all the dishes in the dishwasher. I come home one day, and when I open the door, I'm looking down the hall, and coming down the hall are bubbles, just bubbles. Finally, I said, what's going on? I get through. Saundra's in there with a mop and spraying something. I don't know what she was doing. Come to find out that Saundra put, I think, was it dishwashing liquid inside of the dishwasher. And when she closed it, and all of the bubbles, she couldn't stop the bubbles because of, so that was our introduction to the dishwasher. That was crazy. We laughed about that for years.
I met Saundra, man, you talk about a live wire. That's what, very colorful, always fun to be around. it was like meeting family, because the town that they were in was a small town, and of course she doesn't meet any strangers, so everybody in town knew her. And then on top of that, you know, she had this golden hair, and that kind of made her stand out a little bit more. And so that plus her personality, it was just, you know, it was just an immediate connection.
There's a poem that I keep on my desk that perfectly describes my friend Saundra Montgomery. It reads, "A friend is someone who strengthens you with prayers, blesses you with love, and encourages you with hope." Over the years, saying yes to her, following her instructions has helped me to grow from someone who cried at the drop of a hat to a strong, fearless woman of God. So my tribute today is to my sister, my BFF, my confidant, my fellow shopper, and the best cook this side of heaven. To Eddie, to Ed, to Simeon, and our Abundant Life family, Pastor Ron, love you, and we're praying for you. But thank you, Saundra Montgomery, for loving us the way only you can do.
She was a woman of power, and I just absolutely love my beautiful First Lady. Loved her. And I'm sure a lot of us have memories as well.
For 16 years, Dr. Saundra Montgomery and the ladies of UN served our mission in mentoring women and teen girls to dream the impossible, to walk and live in purpose and destiny, and to remember to live a life that produces winning results no matter how hard life may be. May the life and the legacy forever be celebrated for Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery. To the family, Dr. Ed Montgomery, and the Abundant Life Cathedral family, may the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, and may he give you his peace.
It is an honor to pay tribute today to the one, the only, Dr. Saundra Montgomery. I'm grateful to have had her in my life for 30 years. I'm grateful for her friendship, mentoring, spiritual leadership, for demanding excellence, for making me do things that I didn't think I could, for making my family her family, for all of the great meals, for all of the ministry trips, which always included a trip to the local mall to watch her shop for St. John's suits. What I'm really trying to say is I'm grateful that her life touched my life. I'm grateful for the gift of Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery.
Where would I be if Christ had not found me? I'd be lost on my own, no one looking for me.
Dr. Saundra Elaine Montgomery was a dear friend, a loving sister, a caring person, and we just want to send you our love and prayers at this time. But I want y'all to know, don't make me lose my mind up in here. And y'all already know what that means. That was one of her sayings. We love you, Lady Saundra, and miss you dearly. God bless all of you.
One of my fondest memories is this. After John, Mark, and I, our son, had moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we were working with Higher Dimensions Church, and we went to a chapel service one day at Oral Roberts University. That's before President Roberts retired and resigned. They were special guests, Dr. Montgomery and Dr. Saundra, and we were sitting on the platform. I had been asked to share a song, and I had done that, and then President Roberts said, "We have a special guest from Houston, Texas." And of course, Dr. Ed said to Saundra, "Would you like to have the remarks?" And she went to the mic and she said, "I am full of the Holy Ghost." At that time, MC Hammer, most of you have heard of him, had just recorded one of his very memorable selections. And she said, "I'm full of the Holy Ghost, and you can't touch this." And the students roared because most of the students were familiar with MC Hammer. And so, among all of those religious and spiritual leaders at Oral Roberts universities, I think they were shocked, but it was so funny because she wasn't afraid to witness. And she said, "You can't touch this."
We came through the gates and we had already been bike riding. We had already cleaned the closets. We had cooked. We had done it all. And she brought my attention to the oranges that adorned the front entry of her subdivision where the elite lived. But she said to me, we're picking these oranges on this trip. I said, "What?" She says, "Oh yes, look at that tree. It's full of oranges." Saundra wanted the oranges, and Saundra, she gets what she wants. We got up in the ladder, and I really think one of us wet our pants laughing that we were actually picking the oranges. I got up, Saundra didn't. She gave the orders, and I got up. We must have picked 2 boxes of oranges, that we were able to send Sarah a box of oranges. And when we told Ed what we did, he was so embarrassed. It'll be a memory of a lifetime that I'll have of Dr. Saundra Elaine. I love you forever, and thank you for being the friend that you've been to me and the teaching and all that you've graced me with. I'll forever hold you dear to my heart.
As you guys know, she liked to give advice. And I remember I was at a big conference, and as we were up on the platform, she let me know that my jacket was too short. I needed to lengthen my jacket. And then another time she said, "Tim, what are you doing with your hair? Because your hair looks like it needs to be something done to it." And I loved every side of her, from teaching me to dance, teaching me how to dress, and helping me be a better person.
I just wanted to let you know that we're praying with you, praying for, and what a jewel to the body of Christ.
Yes, I agree. And to the Montgomery family, to Dr. Ed Montgomery, we just want you to know we love you. Your wife showed us so much genuine love. She took me in as a sister, as a daughter, as a friend, as a mentor. And I'm so grateful for her life and all the gems that she poured into me. And we just want you to know, Abundant Life family and Dr. Ed Montgomery, we're praying for you. We love you. We thank God for you. And we thank God you shared Dr. Saundra with us.
They was talking about that, the family. Do you remember Saundra used to sure know how to dance? I said, I still do. Everybody has a gift. Now you may not can dance like I can dance, but you have a gift.
I'm Eddie Montgomery Jr. and I'm Simeon Montgomery. Y'all know me. And we're our mother's sons. I'm the oldest, and it's my baby brother. And here's baby Chula. Yeah. That was my mother's little child, and she loved her dearly. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone for all the love and support and through this tough time. And it's extremely tough. But at the same time, we want to celebrate our mother's life and legacy, keep it remembered. And again, we want to thank you, the whole family. We want to thank friends, family, church members, close friends, helping us remember that they're going to keep, or you guys are going to keep the legacy alive. Yeah, thank you for all your prayers, your comments, your likes and everything. You know we loved our mother, and we know you loved her too, and she loved all of you. And we just want to say thank you so much. Keep us in your prayers, and say hi, Chula. You know, one of the things, yeah, she's saying hello. One of the things, we have to remember, and me and Simi we talk about this, how vibrant and alive mom was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you remember that, you know, at different events and different reunions and family gatherings, or it didn't matter where she was. She was so alive, you couldn't even keep up with her.
You know, yeah. Sure couldn't.
From the
She'll
game.
put a dance move on you in a minute.
Charades.
Sure would, sure would.
I mean, it was like a game show being with her. And you know, you can't forget about the compassion that she had for people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I remember one time where somebody didn't have any shoes, or the shoes were bad on their feet.
I remember that story.
And my mother saw it, and she took her shoes off and gave her shoes away. And that was like the first time.
Weren't we in a mall or something like that?
We were.
Yeah,
We were.
yeah.
That was the first time I had witnessed my mother display something is that
And
type of compassion.
And walk barefoot to the car.
Right. She went barefoot the whole way. And it's little memories like that we have, and we have many of them.
Yeah. Also, look, I'm gonna sound a little jealous right now, but I remember one story. I have a next door neighbor that's kind of like my same age or whatever. We are the same age, and growing up and going to school every morning, you know, we have to catch the bus and all that. And you know, my mom, she would never leave me hungry. She'd never leave us hungry. So every morning she would wake up 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, just to make me my favorite, which is a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Amazing. So anyway, I would have this sandwich every morning. I would go to school and ride the bus and eat my sandwich. And, you know, she had me, you know, some little cut up apples. So, you know, that's just what I ate every morning. But my friend, my next door neighbor, shout out Cameron, he's had my back during this whole situation. He would get so mad because he'd be like, man, what's that? What you eating right there, man? And one day I gave him a piece of it. He said, oh, man. I came home that day, told my mom about that sandwich that, you know, that she always makes. Next morning, I realized on the counter when I was leaving for school, she had 2 sandwiches. And I said, oh, that's what she wants me to do. Ever since then, I said, Mom, why would you make him my sandwich? That's my sandwich. She said, Simmy, you can't be like that. Share with everybody. Share love. And man, before I get teary-eyed, I think we're gonna have to stop this, but you know, she was always like, share the love with everybody. And anything that you have, give people the love and your support, you know, because you would want the same for you.
And you know, while you're on giving, I want to say this. She didn't give because it was the right thing to do. I mean, anybody can give just because it's the right thing to do and it still not be sincere. What made our mother's giving very sincere is the fact that she gave because she wanted to see the other happy. And that's all she wanted. She didn't want anybody to lack anything. So with that being said, thank you for everybody for being there for our family and loving our mother through any time, whether it be tough or whether it be easy. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
Seems like they don't understand, and you don't know why they can't. You got that spark in your eye, you can see from the skies, yeah. You're way out of this world, no need for diamonds or pearls. Yeah, you can shine on your own. Tell all the folks to leave you alone. You know why? You're a S-T-A-R. Yeah, that's what you are. S-T-A-R. You're made to travel far. S-T-A-R. That's who you are. S-T-A-R. Come on, shine, shine, shine.
There were literally 2 things inside of our house that Saundra and I think you can say we're religious about. And it was morning coffee and the truth chairs. Well, I'll tell you what the truth chairs were first. There were 2 chairs sat right next to each other. And whenever we had to have a good conversation and tell the truth, really truth, we sat in the truth chairs. Morning coffee, however, was a different story. And we didn't plan it. We didn't learn it in a marriage class or anything like that. We just got up every morning, drank coffee, and talked about life. And I would also take those times every now and then to talk about different messages I was developing. And she would always say, well, you need to go put that one back in the oven because it's not ready. So this is how we interacted. There was one particular story we talked about, and it was around Luke chapter 15. And it was about a boy who had left home, who had decided to go out on his own, do his own thing, took his father's money, his own inheritance, and left and went to party. And he got out there and it got so bad that a famine or a type of pandemic came up. And his friends left, his money was gone. He had to go find this job that he really didn't want, feeding pigs. And when he got through, he looked at the pigs. His belly was so empty, he was so hungry that he decided, I think I could eat this and make it happen, and it would feel better. He actually believed that the pig slop was going to taste good. But it said just before he did it, he came to himself and he said, I think I'm going back to my father's house because the servants in my father's house are living better than me right now. In other words, he remembered his address. And I think that's the moral to this parable is you can't go home until you remember your address. You know, when I was a kid, they used to pin my address inside of my clothes when I was little in elementary school. And Mom, why you do it? Because in case anything happens, you get lost, the police can find you and take you home. And so I think what we fail to realize sometimes is what our address is, what our home is. And this is what I want to leave you with. We were made from the dust of the earth. Scriptures teach us in Colossians that this mystery, this hidden thing, is Christ in us, which is the hope of glory, not around us, beyond us, above us, or below us, but Christ in us, which is the hope of glory. When we read in the beginning of Scripture, it says, and God formed man from the dust of the earth. And we know what the earth is. When meteors would strike the earth, asteroids, they discovered that the same chemicals that were in meteors were also inside of our bodies. So in other words, the planets comes from the stars from the Big Bang of the universe. We realize that sitting on the outer swirl of the Milky Way, out of all of those billions of stars, we are so unique that the makeup of our body comes from the makeup of our galaxy, and that comes from the makeup of the universe. So in other words, we are made of stars. But it's not just that. When God formed man from the dust of the earth, he formed it from that dark, rich soil, black mud. And then he breathed into that formation the breath of life, and man or woman became a living soul. We actually continued to come into being. So here we are, right out of rich soil, and inside of us, the breath of God. I think that's what Saundra and I were constantly teaching and preaching for over 40-something years. That when you look in the mirror, you are seeing not just a depraved human being or somebody trying to make it, but you're looking at God. When we look at each other, we're looking at God. Unfortunately, people have taught us that we're not. They've taught us to hate ourselves. They've taught us to look down at ourselves. They've taught us that we're not worth that much. And then when you add COVID and sickness and disease, we ask ourselves the question, who in the world are we? But inside of us, we are that image of God. When you look at Jesus, you're not just looking at somebody that is a nice, sweet human being portrayed by the artist of that time or some other era. But you're looking at a man who is connected with God. And he is our older brother. The first fruits of them that sleep, the firstborn among many brethren. The same God that is in Christ is the same God that is in us. So when I look at Jesus, I'm looking at myself. When I look at you, I'm looking at God. When I look at all of my brothers and sisters, this is why we don't hurt each other. We don't harm each other. Because we're looking at God. You see, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And if God created heaven, we realize that heaven is actually smaller than God. So heaven lives in God. And if heaven is the place where we lay up our treasures, then we realize that where our treasure is, there our hearts are also, our spirits are also. So our spirits are in heaven. Our spirits come from heaven. And if heaven is in God, then our spirits are also in God. When we die, our souls go back to the God that made it. And then when God, as Jesus said in John chapter 14, he and Jesus and God comes to make their home in us. So it means that if God lives in us, then everything that lives in God lives in us also. So our loved ones never really die. Oh, the dirt goes back, but the essence of who they are move on, and they live in our hearts for eternity. Listen, Saundra did not have to deal with COVID-19. However, she was in the hospital when she passed away. And so, of course, she was having to deal with the system that was dealing with COVID-19. And I know there's so many people out there who may have lost loved ones due to COVID-19, who may have lost parents that you feel was way too early, maybe even children, husbands, wives, that you are missing terribly that have transitioned within the last 3 or 4 months. I know it's tough, but I want to say this to you, that they came from stars, and they are the Spirit of God within. God is not just above us, around us, beside us, but God is in our spirits. God is in our hearts. God is in our genes, epigenetics. God is everywhere. And that's what at least gives me the comfort. People say, well, you know, she's in a better place. Yeah, but I'm not in a better place. I hurt. I feel that emptiness. But at the same time, I am so grateful that I got to know Saundra Elaine Montgomery. 2 wonderful children. A church family that I adore. Abundant Life Cathedral, thank you so much for everything that you have done to make her feel like the special woman that she is. I couldn't ask for a better congregation because that's just who you are. You win, and the women that have walked beside her and her young ladies that just love to carry her purse and look after. Thank you so much for what you've done. To those of you that put finance and money together to make sure that everything was helped and there was no lack anywhere, thank you so much. McDuffie Mortuary, loving memories. You've been a jewel. I couldn't ask for more. And I could start going down the names and names of resolutions and all the people who have sent things in. But let me say this. Saundra is someone that I will never, ever forget. Stage was not just about showing off Saundra. It was what we did in order to communicate the message that in you, the best part of God lives. And that because he lives, you live also. Thank you, Saundra, for being who you are. Thank you for loving me. And always remember, no matter where I am, you will always be center stage.